no, you know you got yourself in before hell come back. I took it as disrespect at first, but now I just know it's ignorance, especially after blocking you for a couple minutes. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Cage Titans fans. And you know what? 15 years ago, we started Cage Titans with fans and fighters first in our minds. And man, what a ride it's been. Without you guys, we would not be here today. And I can't thank you enough. So this holiday, this Christmas Day, we're here to give you the best gift possible. The biggest show, the biggest names, all here in the heart of Boston. MGM Fenway, Saturday, February 21st, Cage Titans invades Boston. MGM Fenway with the biggest card we could possibly put together for you fans in New England. MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, grappling, the Cage Titans Super Bowl will all take place here on February 21st. Merry Christmas, guys. Enjoy some time with your family, and stay tuned for more details in the next couple weeks. What up?
Boom. Here we go. It's fight week. What's happening, Michael?
What's going on? Absolutely. Fight week. Let's rock.
Yeah, man. It's here. We were just talking very briefly off air. You were saying it's kind of got like a different feel to it, knowing what's on the horizon. But after you said it, it's like, no, not really. Cage Titans 75, and this is the week committed to it. No Boston. Not even worried about it. Not a thought. We'll get through this weekend, take a couple of days, and then the ball is rolling full swing ahead. But this week is committed to Cage Titans 75 in my heart, in my mind at least.
Yeah, you know what? When I say that, it's feels different. I think that this is just a shift in gears in the Cage Titans world. Like it's like we had a show in November, December, January. This is our third fight week in three months, and usually we're doing shows every other month. So fight week for me in particular is a lot different now in some regards, because it's just more, it's happening more regularly, I guess. So the lulls in between fight week, when it's every 8 weeks as opposed to every 4 weeks, it's just a different adjustment in a good way. In a good way. It's like you just said you actually kind of caught, and I didn't correct you in the moment. It's like, yeah, if all focus is on this Saturday and then take a few days off. It's like, no, like Saturday is, Saturday, and that night we're going to be working on, there's no time off. Like we're going to have all the competitors. We got some big announcements at intermission. Then we're setting up a media day the following Wednesday, I think it's going to be. We're honing in on the date today. So it's like, yeah, man, there's just no more days off and lulls. It's just like bam, 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 week after week.
And it's kind of felt that way since the second half of last year. We've just kind of had that gauge rolling, knowing that we've got all those announcements that we're going to be making on fight night, and then hoping to schedule that media day the week of after fight week to get the ball rolling. It's like I said, it's not overwhelming. It's not the feel of it. It's just that's the stage we're at. We're shifting gears, hitting a new momentum, hitting a new stride, hitting a new level, and it's true. It's invigorating. So
I'm doing some counting, and that's why you see me moving my fingers.
Yep, I saw what you were doing.
8 months. We're going to have 8 shows in 8 months. When you go back to September, 2 shows in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. By the time March rolls around, we're gonna have 8 shows in 8 months. Basically a show a month. So, when I say fight weeks,
coming off of 6 shows a year, we just did that. Yeah, that's
so it's definitely crazy. Good times, but the excitement. I think why it feels different is that the excitement is sustained now, because back when we do shows every 8 weeks, it was a build up and then a peak and then a drop down and a lull, then a build up to a peak, drop down, lull. Now it's just like redlining the whole time. It's just like I'm actually getting names and matching names for March. We're in a fight week, and people are like, oh, I know it's fight week. Sorry to bother you. It's like about February. It's like, oh, dude, I'm collecting names right now for March, and it's fight week. So it's definitely an adjustment.
Well, think about it. That's kind of where we'd be at if we didn't have MGM in between.
Yeah.
So that's the ball has taken a new shape and it rolls at a new speed, and it's just where we're at. And I couldn't be more thrilled whatsoever. But the hall is ready to kick into gear in 2026, and we're ready to jump into things. And
quickly, I want to get to a question before we turn, kind of the majority of the focus tonight on the show this Saturday, CT75. What's going on, Richie? You answered in the comments, but I'll give a couple, I'll give a little speech on it. So are these February tickets per section like the hall, or they're assigned? So they're all assigned seating, but I will say we have like a little bit of a loose assigned seating. It is, you're buying a ticket for a specific seat if you buy through Ticketmaster. But we've also explained to MGM that we are very much used to doing sections. And a part of the draw and the excitement and the atmosphere of Memorial Hall is that when you buy tickets, you're sitting usually with gym mates and teammates and family members. So you'll have these pockets of crowds that are there for one specific fighter. And with assigned seatings, we kind of lose that because you may not know what section somebody from your gym bought in. So they are assigned, but we're gonna also kind of let the staff know there, unless somebody's like, I want that seat right there. When you have the ticket for it, you got it. We're gonna allow some fluidity where people can kind of sit in the sections. Like if you guys are all in the balcony and you're in 301 and you got friends in 302, you can get some seats together. You can kind of jump over in whatever section you want. So hopefully that answers the question. But MGM essentially is assigned, but we're going to hopefully have a little bit of fluidity there. I know that there's a few ways of buying tickets right now. So
what would the commission call it? A variance?
Yeah. Well, not. Yeah, I guess you could
give you a variance of tickets if you get
we'll
going to be malleable with it.
The other thing is, so tickets went on sale Wednesday, and we had a couple phone calls with the fighters to go over everything, and just to kind of give everybody some insight. There's 3 different ways that I would say you can go about getting tickets for February. First off, you can go to Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, you can go on there, see the map, and you can pick the seat that you specifically want and get that seat. That's Ticketmaster. The good thing about it is you can pick that seat specific that you want right then and there. The bad news about that, Ticketmaster, if you've heard about them in the news and their fights with musicians and stuff like that, their fees are just astronomical. Anywhere from 30 to 35% fees if you go to Ticketmaster. So by all means, you can go to Ticketmaster, use your favorite fighter's last name as your unlock code so they get credit for it. So they'll still get credit for it. So Ticketmaster is option 1, high fees, pick your seat as a positive. The other option is going to Tickettree. With Tickettree, you can buy from your favorite fighter. And essentially what you're doing is buying in this section, and then they will go to the box office and buy you the best available seat in that section. Why would you go about that? The positive, less fees. Tickettree goes anywhere from 10 to 15%. So more than half of what Ticketmaster is choosing. So positive, you're paying half the fees. And there's not really a ton of negative. You'll still have your fighter's last name as your fighter code. They have their own direct links, so they'll get credit for it. The only difference there is you're buying for a section, and then they'll get you the best available. So you won't actually look at the map. You can look at the map and say, I want section 301 or section 302 or 202, whatever you want. You just won't know specifically what seat you're getting until they send it to you. And then the last option is a couple fighters are doing bulk purchases where you just send them their money, send you the money in the seat that you want. And there's no fees for that, but not all fighters are doing that because there's a lot of legwork involved with it. So it saves the fans fees, but the fighters have to do a lot of work for it because they have to purchase tickets. It's not like a normal cage science where they get a batch of 50 tickets and they're in their hands and they're going around selling to people. With MGM, you have to buy the tickets up front. So those are kind of the options. Ticketmaster, high fee, but you pick the exact seat. Ticket tree, half the fees, and you pick the section. There you go. So, and then hit up your favorite fighter because they have their codes, they have their direct links, and they have all that for you. So that's the breakdown on tickets.
There we go. And tickets are on sale for both events.
Yes. And as Aaron said, let's fucking go. It's fight week. So didn't Chris. We are here for fight week. We are here to talk about Cage Titans 75. As the show wraps up, if we have any time, we can, take questions about Boston, which is on the tip of everybody's tongue. But we want to get the ticket information out there. And then now we can turn our focus really to the stars of this week's show, which is the fighters throwing down this upcoming Saturday night, headlined by Casey Norton taking on Cody Davis. Cody Davis, top 5 prospect in the country, not currently signed to the UFC, coming to us from California. He's on a lot of people's radars, one fight away getting into the UFC. Obviously, we've seen Casey Norton, so this is a huge headliner with huge implications in the flyweight division.
Yeah, at the apex of the card in a division that's been red hot historically, and a division that also historically needs talent at the upper echelon of stages to play this game. So, yeah, a lot of implications in the main event coming up. Everybody's familiar with the Wonder Bread Warrior. He's made a name for himself over a couple of fights at Plymouth Memorial Hall, newly minted champion, taking a huge step up in his first title defense. A huge risk for both of them, and it's going to be quite the experience having this main event welcoming Cody Davis to Plymouth, Massachusetts after fighting on the national scale for so long, and Casey Norton with the huge opportunity on his hands in his first title defense. Whoever comes away victorious, just can't say enough about the momentum they're carrying.
Yeah. I love this fight because I just think that we've talked about it in the lead up. It's like, the level and the stage here as we enter our 16th year of doing Cage Titans. It's like now we're just bringing national stars in. In the early days, it was the gyms within a 30-minute radius of Cage Titans in Plymouth, and there's a few years it was the local star bringing in a guy from out of state, usually not favored to win the fight. Just calling a spade a spade. There was a few years in there where it was, all right, who's the local star and who's coming in to lose to the local star. And I think over the last few years, we've really just kind of elevated the platform that we have to, where a legitimate promotion where, there's guys that are looking for our stage and our platform because they know that the limelight that you'll get from a win on a Cage Titans card can catapult you to further places down the line. And then you look at a guy like this, Casey Norton and Cody Davis, both guys out of staters, and one guy from across the country and another guy from, Connecticut, obviously a little closer, but these guys are throwing down on a high level main event on our card. It's neither one of them are selling tickets. It's, hey guys, buckle up. We got a fucking banger for you. And we're going to be putting these guys, the spotlight solely on them and see what they do with it.
Yeah, and it's it's a fight that any fight fan should have their mouth watered about. Looking at on paper, both guys with a high finish rate for the weight class, both imposing in different areas of mixed martial arts. Stylistically, it's an electrifying fight that everybody in the building should stick around to see, and it's got to be quite the feeling of accomplishment in your regard, as you were saying, the different stages of what would primarily qualify as a headliner. I remember 10 years ago, it was local versus local. We'd be hard pressed to have 2, 3 pro fights on a card to begin with, let alone with this level of national scale. And 2025 being an indicator of the amplitude of main events that we had going international in 2024 with oh my God.
Bruce Picode?
No, yeah, Bryce Picot fought for us. And
From France.
yes, and it's on the tip of my tongue.
Vadim?
Canadian champ.
Vadim against Eve?
Canadian.
Dufort.
Yes, Michael Dufort. Thank you. Yes. That's now culminating into 2 out-of-staters with no A side, B side. That's got to be quite the feeling of accomplishment in your realm.
Yeah, I mean,
just seeing how Cage side and how it's gotten to this stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that not necessarily the accomplishment. It's just the evolution. It's I don't think it's like every show is an accomplishment getting one off the ground. I think it's the evolution of Cage Titans, and I think it's just it happened organically. I've talked about this all the time. Like, I never envisioned what Cage Titans is going to be more than what it is in front of me, and how the chips will fall or the cards will lie out. Like, not to be corny, but like destiny kind of to lead our path. Like, I didn't start Cage Titans go, I'm going to have the best fighters in the whole entire country, and we're going to be the biggest feeder league to the UFC. Never thought that. I never thought I was going to have guys that would even go pro. Like, it just, the evolution has, and the business has been shaped by the competitors, and the fans, truly. It was never, this is my vision and this is what I'm doing. It's, all right, let's see what we can do. And we're just trying to put a show on, and things will fall as they will. Because I think that a lot of times with promotions, they get so caught up in being something that they end up fizzling out. And think about the graveyard of promotions that are going to be the next UFC. Or when the WEC, I remember back when I first thought it was like the WEC, who's going to take their place? It's like everybody was clamoring to be the next Strikeforce or whatever. And it's like, we're not trying to be the next anything. We're just trying to be Cage Titans, and what happens with it will happen. And I think that's more or less what's happened over the years.
Yeah. And what a ride it's been, to be honest, just seeing it evolve to this point. Like I said, the ball is now a different shape and it rolls at a different speed going into 2026, and it's capsized by the main event that we have at hand, both guys being from well outside of Massachusetts. So this is certainly
this card's going to be amazing. And Ibrahim Afal, I got to get to him just because I don't want to get too caught up in what happened with Cage Titans and lose sight of the guys that are fighting this weekend. Ibrahim Afal, he's in the comments. He said he's excited for this weekend. Talk about a guy, knockout power under the tutelage of Mike Rodriguez, undefeated so far in his career. We saw what his teammates Ryan Daly did. Scotty Miles is another teammate of his that's fighting on this card, sharing the card with him. But Ibrahim Afal is a guy at 170 that's showing to be a force to be reckoned with. And he's taken on former title challenger Gavin O'Connell, who Gavin literally said to me, even though he fell short in his title fight against Jaden Curley, they came to me and was like, I'm sure no one will fight Emilio Marquez. I'll take that fight if no one else would do it. That's though he's coming off a knockout loss like that, knockout of the year for Jaden Curley against Gavin. Gavin's like, nah, man, that's just the competitor Gavin is. And I'm so stoked for this fight because Mike Rodriguez in Level Ground has really been dialing it up. And Ibrahimov Fall is a guy that's had 2 fights outside of our organization, but the kid's a stud. And Gavin O'Connell we know how good he is. He competed for our title. The mindset after coming off a knockout would be like, most people would be like, am I ever going to fight again? Or what are they going to be like? And this kid's trying to jump right back into the deep end. Hats off to him and Nick Fontecchio and those guys over at Mohawk Martial Arts.
And that's kind of what happened in his last run up to the title. He got caught and knocked out against Steve Hill and then bounced back and went on that title run. And we're going to see what he does on the next bounce back, taking on an undefeated Ibrahimov Fall. So, yeah, well, there'll be a warm welcome for Mr. Fall and welcome back for Mr. O'Connell. Going to see how the welterweight division plays out and who's going to climb their way that much closer to the top. But there's a lot of names that are making some comebacks here. You mentioned the name Scotty Miles is also training at Level Ground. He's actually opening up the show against Angel Reyes, coming down from Evolution Performance. So they're going to be kicking things off at 140 pounds. And Scotty Miles hasn't fought since
his debut against Tyler
Smythe. Tyler Smythe. I don't know if it was like in 2020 or before the pandemic. I can't remember if it was right before or the first one after, but it's been 5+ years since he has. Yeah, so that's
58.
5+ years since he has fought. But excuse me.
2021. Cage Titans 49. I'm sorry. I knew it was 48 or I mean, I said 50, but it was 49. Cage Titans 49.
So 5 years since he's fought. Talk about a comeback, and Angel Reyes will be making his Cage Titans debut.
Definitely. Jumping around. Angel Reyes, I'll quickly get, I know we don't really know him. Evolution Performance. This kid's fought at Combat Zone, a couple other places. He's wants to be so active. Not only is he fighting for us this weekend, he also has his next fight scheduled in February. So this kid's he's a go-getter and he's looking to stay busy and active. I'm looking forward to him gracing us with his presence to see what he has firsthand. And he's also competing on the card with a guy, Nick Martino, who fought for us before, but now Nick moved up to the Lowell area and he's training at Evolution. So Nick would kind of open the door to get these Evolution guys back down to Cage Titans. So first time showing for Evolution. So I think that's going to be a great opening bout. I'm going to kind of jump around a bit because I see Aaron Hughes in the comments, so I wanted to bring it up. He said this could very well be his last fight ever, and he's given everything to this. I can't agree anymore. Aaron Hughes, I've known him for probably 10+ years. The kid trains his ass off, one of the best training partners, always there, pumping up his teammates. And, as he's, made his way through the pro ranks, he's had some ups, he's had some downs. And, now he's just kind of getting to a point where, most athletes come in their life where it's like, all right, I want to start my next chapter where it's, starting a family. I know that he's announced, I hope he has, I hope I'm not announcing it for him, but I believe he's expecting a child, that next wave of his life. And pretty much was like, this could be my last one. Like, I know he's privately talked to me being like, if I'm going on a run until I lose. If I lose again, I'm done. I'm hanging him up. I'm going to focus on my family and my career outside of competing and helping others get better. And he's already kind of started dipping his toe in this. Like, he's seen Camden Black, who's competed on a dark side, Chris Chicos, who's on this card. Last card, he had Camden Black and Ryan Woodside compete. So he's really kind of switching gears. But he said this is the year he's going all in. Once he loses, that's it. And he wants to go 6-0 this year and write his record. And before he hangs it up, try to challenge for a title. So we'll see what Aaron does. He has Nico Getling in front of him. Nico, we've talked about before. Nico's looking to kind of write his career in a different type of way. The kid was a stud amateur. And in his pro debut, he was so excited to get it. He ended up I don't want to say stupidly, but that's probably not even a word, but he took a fight at up 2 weight classes, and he got clipped and he got knocked out in his pro debut. And now he's taken some time off since then, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, I realize we talk about this before, and we talk about it not in person, I mean on air, but when people have a great amateur career and then they go pro, it's like, well, why are they fighting this lower level guy as a pro in their debut? It's like, well, listen, man, things are fucking a lot different when you go pro. And, they just kind of get their feet wet in the pro ranks. So you see some of these guys making their pro debuts or first or second pro fights, dabbling with some like lower level entry guys as pros. And people question why that happens. And there's a reason there. The pros are a lot different, smaller gloves, all that stuff, like
elbows.
And Nico, again, had an outstanding amateur career, jumps up 2 weight classes, a guy that he should have probably beat, maybe if he was the same weight class, and he got caught. And now he's back trying to right that ship. And I think this is an interesting fight for both guys. Because Nico and his team know Aaron very well. And they know what they're getting themselves into experience-wise. And as for Aaron, it's like, all right, man, if I can't beat this guy who's coming in 0-1, yeah, it is time to hang this up.
Well, we'll see what happens. We know Aaron's going to be bringing a show, win, lose, or draw. He's going to come out swinging and dangerous anywhere the fight goes. And Nico's going to be – it's already impressive that he's taken this jump up early in his career against a 15-fight veteran and Aaron Hughes, who's seen it all in there. So for this to be his Cage Titans debut, yeah, hats off to him, however the result goes. But I'm looking forward to an exciting fight between these two.
Yeah, for sure. 4 ounces to freedom. Thanks for the comment. He said, massive addition that you actually promote. Doesn't matter if it's opening bout or main event. Other promotions may promote the main event or someone on the UFC's radar, and that's about it. Yeah, man, that's I appreciate you pointing it out, but it's something that we've talked about for years. Like, I don't care if it's your first time fighting or you are the next UFC superstar or you've been to the UFC. We treat every fighter the same, whether you're the first fight of the night, whether you're last, whether your goal is to have a bucket list fight and do it once and never again, or you're a 59-year-old guy like John Payne who's competing just because he wants to before he, retires from firefighting, or you're a guy who's trying to get to the UFC. Like, we're promote you all the same. There's no special treatment, whether you're the guy from whatever your goal is. So I appreciate you pointing it out, but that's definitely, Andy, as you know, that's something that's near and dear to us.
It's the moment, man. Like, it's why I put it all in is I remember my Cage Titans debut and getting even losing, getting submitted by Scott Sullivan in the second round. It was still a profound moment, a profound event. And there's just a level of respect held for anybody that steps into a cage from an audience standpoint and throughout the community. So that's why we put it all in, and we know it's just as big a moment, whether it's your amateur debut or whether you're at the top of the upper echelon of prospects.
Yeah,
on the local scene. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same moment, the same walk, same cage, and takes the same amount of balls. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I appreciate it. 4 ounces. And it's, you're not saying anything that we don't say, as well as your job is to be a promotion. Promote. Like, take pictures of your
we're a
fighters.
marketing company.
Take pictures of your fighters, do stuff. Like, it's like some shit is so simple, yet they don't get it. And I don't even know why, fighters even fight for some of these guys. It's like, man, if you're going to fight and risk your life and your friggin' promotion can't even take a fucking picture of it and help you market it, or, make memories for you, or videotape and shit like that. It's just like, why the hell even bother? Why risk it for that guy to go let the promotion make money and fatten his pockets? Like, I can tell you right now, I'll open the books and you can see all the money we pay into marketing and promoting and photography and videography and all the stuff that we do to give you guys the best platform possible, and to really, I say it all the time, we set the stage. What you do with it as the fighter is up to yourself. But I promise you this, if you do it, we'll be there to capture it, and we're going to make the most of it. And I'm coming to this topic, just Drew Arpin. Drew Arpin just went 10 million views in 3 days on his celebration. And I know you're not really much of the outside fighting, Andy. This guy, he beat his opponent a couple shows ago, and Drew's fighting this weekend, so it's on brand that we're talking about it. But we posted his celebration on Thursday or Friday, and it's got 10 million views over the weekend of his celebration. Now, we didn't do that celebration. We didn't come up with that idea. We didn't do anything. We set the stage for him, and he celebrated the way he did, and we captured it. Not only did we capture it from one angle, we captured it from 2, 3, 4 different angles. And this kid Drew just went viral, 10 million views in over 3-course day. And this is something that we do all the time. It's just, we're there to capture it. We're there to get the word out. We're there to help you raise your star in this sport, in profile in this sport. So, it's all second nature stuff. But, yeah, congrats to Drew for his celebration. I don't know where he came up with peeing on his opponent. That was a little crazy of a celebration. But, hey, hats off to Drew and his celebration. And the pressure's on. If he does pull out the win, he's got a super tough fight in Azim Khan this weekend. Going back to basics. But if he does pull it out, I wonder if he goes back to the well with that the dog pee celebration, or he has a sophomore follow up for that celebration. I don't even know how the hell you do friggin' follow that up. Anywho.
Yeah, that was it's going to be in the moment, I guess. So it's,
Andy, we talked about this before. Like, did he practice that before? And we used to talk to Valdina when he did the sword thing. We were like, did he practice that? Did he do that in front of the mirror? And Valdina kind of admitted, he's like, I might have done it once or twice in front of the mirror before. So I wonder if Drew did that.
That's a weird pose in front of a mirror.
I will tell you, after Drew's fight, the next morning we were watching. Me and my kids we were scrolling through the social media accounts so they can kind of see what was going on. And Weston, my 6-year-old, he saw the celebration, and he went and did it. And he did the fake dog pee on our dog. So it's pretty funny. But
doggy see, doggy do.
Yeah, it was a good one. So anywho, yeah, Andy, what else? I mean, listen, like, we've talked about these fights for the last few weeks. And tonight I got a lot of work ahead of me, so we don't have to sit here all night. We kind of broke down the card last week. Why don't we give me a couple that you like to talk about?
Oh, I'm going to hit you with a poll there. I'm just going to go down the entire card because Bobby Homer's making his comeback after many, many years after debuting against Jack Congdon. He's coming back at 185 pounds to take on Dante Del Bonis. Dante Del Bonis. That's what I said, at a bat center. So we're going to have a challenging fight when the big boys go in. We know Bobby Homer's long, lean, rangy, and from what he's told me, he's been putting in the best work of his life, training at New Spot Viva MMA, and we're going to see Bobby Homer 2.0 after a 5+ year hiatus. So super excited to see him back, and Dante's going to be making his Cage Titans debut. Rhode Island's been bringing savages up since Bat Center's been out. That's where Vinny the Bull Tedesco comes from. So I'm sure he's going to have great things to say about Dante, but look for big things from the man out of Rhode Island. And going right back down to 140 pounds, the only debut versus debut fight of the night for Cage Titan 75. Charlie Breslin finally making his debut out of Mohawk Martial Arts. It was a weight cut issue with his opponent last time out, so he didn't get to make his debut, but he pulls Timmy Moran out of Daniel Gracie, Plymouth. Going to have the local crowd behind him, fighting in his backyard. That's going to be an exciting fight between debuting fighters. You never know what you're going to get. Definitely want to be there for that one.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny you say that. It's only that you pointed out that it's the only two, you know, just to give some, like, this is a rarity for us. In our last event in November, we had 8 debuting amateurs at Cage Titan 74. You know, Ring Titans, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had 12 on Ring Titans, you know, back in September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 debuters. So usually it's a pretty heavy debuting crowd just going back in the last 2 cards. But here it is. We only got 2, and these guys are right there, and they're looking to put on a show. Yeah,
like you said, a rarity for that to occur. Was the only debuts. Everybody else has stepped foot in there before, coming in with some semblance of experience. And speaking of experience, title implications on the line. I don't know if we've ever had a light heavyweight title at the amateur ranks, but Nick Martino and Andrew Jacobs are going to be meeting in the middle at 205 pounds. Both guys have exhibited thudding power, big durability. Certainly don't want to miss this between the boxing and wrestling of Nick Martino and the judo of Andrew Jacobs. It's going to be a clash of styles that is going to be exciting to see, and you don't want to blink because both of these guys hit hard. And another hard-hitting lightweight matchup between rangy guys. Stavros Batsinellis taking on Connor Holt. I know you mentioned Stavros. He's been fighting. He fought on Cage Titans 31, my first ever time commentating 10 years ago. So he's been on the scene for a long time. Fought Ring Titans recently, jumped back into MMA. And as you mentioned, he's fighting for the first time someone taller than he is in Connor Holt, who towers at 6'3" for the division. And his last outing against Jared Sweeter was one of the craziest one-round wars.
It was up for round of the year.
Up for round of the year for a reason. So after both the wars that both of these guys were in their last outings, certainly want to circle this one.
Yeah, it's funny. Stavros, we talked about it before. Stavros' last fight was Cage Titans 46 for MMA 2019. He predates Nick in the social media. I said it laughingly last time because Nick was like, he's making his debut. I'm like, no, he's a 7-fight amateur veteran, all prior to 2019. So before you knew what a Cage and a Titan was, he was competing. So that was a funny one. But yeah, Connor Holds and Stavros is going to be definitely a fun one. And Stavros has already said this is going to be his last amateur fight, and he has all intentions on going pro next.
Also, that's a level just to add to the excitement right there. And yeah, Stavros, tons of experience. Holt bringing the rider momentum in. I love it. It's a great fight. And another fight that I'm also excited for, Camden Black and Kai Michelle. Like you said, everybody's kind of fought before. Most of these guys have fought for us before. And Camden Black came up short in his debut last outing. Talked about Aaron Hughes earlier. This is an Aaron Hughes protege, pupil. We know that he's hungry to bounce back and get into that win column, and he's taking on Kai Michelle, who we've seen on the ups and downs and crazy highlight reel wars. And coming off of his knockout win over Xavier Cardona, he's going to be riding the momentum. Both guys, youth on their side. Don't blink when the featherweights meet. Absolutely. And then we already talked about Gavin O'Connell versus Ibrahim Afal. Title implications on the line at welterweight. You mentioned how hungry Gavin is to jump back in, and Ibrahim Afal undefeated at a level ground, trying to keep the momentum they have as a gym going forth. Super exciting fight. And then the lightweights. Chris Chico making his Cage Titans debut, also at a Dark Side BJJ. Going to be you mentioned Aaron Hughes, kind of bridging that gap. He's making one more run this year, but he's also going into his coaching era. And you see some of his pupils on this card again. Dark Side BJJ is a gym that you're going to be keeping your eye out for. And Chris Chico going to be taking on Mark McKay, who blew up on the scene in his last outing. Fight of the night, sub of the year contender. Don't not a fight worth missing. Both guys are
No.
1-0 early in their career, and it's going to be a treat to see these guys play out so young in their careers against each other at Cage Titan 75.
Yeah, and Chris Chico, though he's 1-0 MMA, he's also 1-0 in Muay Thai as well, and he's also competed at an event in a grappling super fight, which he's also won. So he's kind of checked all the boxes. He's 1-0 on MMA, 1-0 kickboxing, and 1-0 super fight grappling matches at events. So this guy's kind of checked them all. But Mark McKay, you're absolutely right, man. That kid blasted on the scene back was it September, I believe?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was September. It was on the doubleheader.
Yep. So yeah, he blasted on the scene against Rafael Maya, who's a stud in his own right. And what a friggin' fight that was for the quickness it was, and picked up that guillotine. So this one's definitely gonna be a banger. Chris Chico's doing some time up at New England Cartel, traveling with Aaron as well. So I know he's putting all his eggs in this basket, or stacking the deck in his favor to make sure he's getting the time and the training, and he needs to pull out a win against Mark McKay. And obviously Mark McKay over at Lausanne's, Jay Perrin head coaching now with Joe. He no shortage of great coaching over at Lausanne's as well. So should be a fun one.
Yeah, and undefeated lightweights matching up. Division's gonna be heating up because we got the title fight taking place later in the evening. And we already mentioned Azim Khan at a Back to Basics, a gym that really took stride last year, and are gonna look to kick things off this year in dynamic fashion as well. Jeff Perez is manning an army out of Boston of dangerous kids. So I'm very excited to see Azim Khan debut against Drew Arpin, who has already showcased nothing but heart, toughness, and power and durability in all of his outings. So super excited to see the Mutt return.
And if you look at
these two.
Yeah, Azim Khan 3-1. He, kind of not really known to guys here. All his fights have been back in Pakistan. He's moved out here. I don't know if he's on a student visa or what his deal is, but he's linked up with those back to basics guys. Long, rangy striker, loves to throw hands. A bunch of his fights are out there. You can watch him. This is gonna be a banger of a fight. Everybody knows what Drew brings, and people might be like, oh well, I don't. It's sometimes you need two to tango. So you need an opponent, and I'm telling you, Azim Khan, you might not know him going in, but this kid, search him up. You'll see some of his fights. You see the competitive nature that he has, and you might even get more excited for this fight, knowing that Drew's got a tough test ahead of him, and I think it's going to bring out the best in both guys, and it could be one of those fights that we're talking about, years down the line.
Yeah. So I'm trying to prevent violence from breaking out between the dog and cat right here.
Well, next up, we got the title fight, Anthony King, man. Talk about excitement. This kid's excitement personified. Anthony King taking on the Candyman, Aiden Giuliani. Aiden doesn't get too excited for much, but all he does is win, and he wins titles. And man, a few words, but Anthony King, man, Aiden Giuliani. What do you think about it?
Yeah, another one that's a clash of styles. Anthony King, very deserving of the title shot, and with his last knockout, he has shown his exciting style, his durability, and willingness to engage in firefights wherever the fight takes it. And Aiden Giuliani's done much of the same. He's found a way to hunt for submissions, take it the distance, use rangy strikes, and take control of the pace and geography of a fight and not let it up. So we're going to see how it plays out. These are two of the best lightweights at the amateur ranks that the region has to offer, and treat of a fight to play out for us. We're always excited to see the amateur title fights play out. They've historically had big implications, and whoever wins them tends to go on to do tremendous things, especially at this particular weight class. So,
Aiden kind of reminds me of like a Zach DiSabatino. Looking at him, it's like Cage Titan 67, 68, 70, 72, 73, 75, like staying super active, not the flashiest guy, not the most outspoken guy, but he's just a guy that grabs his lunch pail and just shows up to work and just gets it done. That's kind of his thing. AJ King's not really a talker either, but he's got that sexy, flashy style like that. Just like, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's, when you talk about Aiden, who comes from South Shore, he just definitely reminds me of a Zach DiSabatino, like a guy that's going to come out every card. It's going to fight, comes out and just handles business. And it's like, when you talk about Aiden, it's like, or you talk about fighters, usually like, oh my God, his stand-up is unbelievable. Oh my God, this guy's jiu-jitsu, he's an ace. Oh, he's just a stud wrestler. Aiden, very much cut from that cloth of Zach DiSab and the South Shore guys. Like, he's just good and everywhere, and nothing stands out, but he stands out because he's a winner and gets the job done. I don't know if I'm doing him justice by giving that description, but
Yeah, no, I think that's an avid depiction of how he presents himself. He just finds a way. And like you said, the way he presents himself in the line of fire is completely opposite to how he carries himself out and about. Very soft spoken, mild mannered. He was at Ring Titans. He was just kind of just sitting there quietly, enjoying the action. Said what's up to him. It's a handshake. How you doing? Go on about. But the way he handles business in the cage is remarkable, and he's the champ for a reason. And Anthony King is a dangerous test for him. So we're gonna see how they respond to the challenge they present each other, and that's what the amateur title rankings are for.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this fight. I really am. Also, I threw Kells. All right, listen, I'm gonna put this on me. Kells brought me a blue belt 55er, and I promised I'm gonna try to get him a match, and I failed so far. So I'm putting the word out to Table Titans right now. If Kells, you throw it out there, Kells right here. I'm leaving his comment up. 55 blue belts. If you want to match super fight this weekend at Cage Titans, reach out to Kells or myself and let's make it happen. I told Kells last time I'd get his guy a match. I have not come through. So I'm putting the word out to you guys. If anybody know that has a blue belt, 155er, that wants to do a grappling super fight and open up the show this weekend, hit Kells up, let me know, and we got a slot for you. There you go, Kells. Hopefully I did you justice, man. I know I reached out to a couple schools, and then obviously with the MGM and then trying to, shuffle the main event on this card. So much stuff kind of got me bogged down, and I kind of let the grappling match fall to the wayside, but try to make it right. Anybody out there, blue belt 155er, Kells got a guy. Hit up Kells. Tell him you're ready to match. You guys can talk details on your guys' experience, and we'll have you guys open the show. All right? Boom. Next up, we know Anthony King. We talked about Aaron Hughes. Talk about another fun one. Dion Rubio returning after a while.
Yeah, man, I'm beyond thrilled that he answered the bat signal after Antoine Caparata had to pull out against his fight against Tom Santos. And we're hoping the best for Antoine Caparata to recover and hopefully see him again in the near future. I was very excited to see his name, but Dion Rubio answering the bat signal, short notice fight. We know Tom Santos desperately looking for that first win at Cage Titans. He's fought nothing but the toughest of the tough at 155 pounds, and he's relocated to the United States from Brazil to be closer to the action, get more acclimated to the training regiments around here, and come in ready to handle business, and to draw Dion Rubio as a replacement for Antoine Caparata. Not an easy feat for him whatsoever. And Dion Rubio, someone we haven't seen in action in a number of years, but fought for an amateur title, dynamic pro with a bunch of finishes, well-rounded, great hands, dangerous submission skills that can catch anybody at any time.
He holds a win over Billy
Billy
Goff.
Goff.
Billy
Yep.
Goff. Like, I mean, like this kid, Dion had a career trajectory that was going up, 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 and then he's taken the last few years off. It'd be interesting to see. Like, I don't know if he had plans of fighting. The bat signal kind of went up, and they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we can convince Dion to get off. I don't want to say get off the couch, but to kind of jump off the couch, for a lack of a better word, and throw his name in the hat and take this fight. The interesting thing about this he rattles off a win here, and does that reignite that fire that we kind of knew he had? Like, again, this kid was a stud amateur and had some great. He was off to a 3-0 start as a pro, then came up short in 2 fights against 2 very tough opponents that he had no shame. He shouldn't have any shame in losing, but then he kind of, pumped the brakes a little bit on the career. Wasn't looking to fight, but this fight coming in on 3 weeks notice and just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. It'd be interesting to see if this is that motivator, and maybe a year from now he rattles off 4 or 5 fights and we're like, oh man, that one bat signal call to get off the couch and take a fight on 3 weeks notice, sparked his career resurgence. And maybe we're looking at him at 6-2 next year, 6-3 as one of the best, which we all kind of thought that for him when he made that jump from amateur to pro.
Yeah, who knows what can happen, but he's got a task ahead of him. And Tom Santos, who was a grizzled veteran in his own right, though he hasn't found a victory yet at Cage Titans, he's growing hungrier show by show and wants to show his power.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, just to give you an update on the Antoine Caparata, good news, bad news. Obviously, the bad news, he was out of this fight and had to get shelved. Good news is this past week he got notification that he will not need surgery on the injury. So a little bit of rehab, and he will be looking to come back in March. He's another one that was, like, oh man, I'm getting married towards the end of the year. I got, this was kind of now or never, because after July, I'm going to be shifting some gears. And he was really bummed. He thought this was going to mark the end of his career, kind of like, man, I wanted a couple more before I decided to kind of buckle down. And he thought his career was over, essentially. And he got the news, no surgery needed. He's going to do a little bit of rehab. He's going to be able to get back in there 1 or 2 more times before he calls it, closes the chapter book, or closes the book on this chapter, whatever the hell the fucking phrase is.
Always another chapter.
Talking about
chapter. Talk about chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both guys in a certain chapter of their career, between Miguel Savinson and Trevor Goody. Trevor Goody has had his ups and downs as a pro, but on any given day, he can beat any welterweight. He's got all the skills in any area that the fight can go, and his range and length makes him a towering task to deal with, no matter who you are. And he seems to be coming into this with a newfound hunger, desire. He's taking on the undefeated Miguel Savinson, who is jumping up a weight class and has a heavy output, high-paced style that is always electrifying. So both guys are going to pose a lot of problems for each other that they haven't yet seen in their careers. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to see how they each solve it. Got a lot of respect for both guys and have gotten to know both of them over the years. So this is just a fun fight between combatants. I'm really thrilled to see them taking this fight, because I think stylistically it's just so crowd pleasing to see these two in the middle. So however it goes, I guarantee it's going to be a contender for fight of the night.
Yeah, man, this fight is just, we talked about Dion, who kind of had that crazy productive amateur career, then kind of rattled off 3 wins and in his pro career before a stumbling block. Trevor Goody was the same way, 7-0 amateur, rattled off a bunch of wins, beat a Gracie, then kind of fell on a little bit of hard times. And this is a fight that excites him. and could be that fight that kind of gives him the career, like, injection of like a win here, be like, okay, cool. Like I still got this and I can still do something with this. So I think that's why this is important and a good fight for Trevor. As for Miguel, he's dabbling with 170 and stop with the lightweight. I think it's an interesting thing for him. Like, does he come in and pass this test, which one of the biggest welterweights there is locally? How does he handle the weight difference? How does he handle it? Like, all of that. Does he stay at welterweight after this? Does he learn some things and go, maybe I do got to, get down and not walk as heavy in between fights, and I should be a lightweight? Like, there's a lot on the line, and he's also at that pivotal moment. We talked about Trevor, who had an unbelievable amateur career, started off his pro career hot, and then once he got to the 3-0 type record, same with Dion, got to the 3-0 type record, and then lost 2 in a row. Miguel's 3-0 right now. Is this the fight that kind of like, all right, now I got my fights under my belt as a pro. Now I'm starting to step up competition. Where is he at right now? We gave 2 examples of guys who were there and then kind of had to reevaluate. This is that big fight for Miguel. Like, if it to either push him into, hey, this kid's a hot prospect and has what it, potentially has what it takes, or does the flame kind of get tepid a little bit? And if he can't pass this type of test, then what does he do from there as well? So great fucking fight. I love that both guys were willing to take it. I couldn't be happy.
And if you've seen both of these guys fight and then find out that they're fighting each other, you're kind of looking at it and going, no matter what, because the style that they both bring. And I think it's going to they're going to accent each other well in there. And it's going to be very pleasing for all in attendance.
Absolutely. Next up, we talked about these guys last week, so we don't have to spend a lot of time. Charlie Gathers. I mean, if you watched the show last week, you're not a fan of Charlie Gathers. The guy said all the right things. You would be a fan if he was from Massachusetts. He just happened to be born or raised or whatever. He's living in Pennsylvania. This kid is a Cage Titans guy, through and through. Just loves to bring it, loves to throw leather, loves to fight. He's super pumped up for this at 47 years old, getting the opportunity to compete against like-aged individuals in this OG division instead of taking on the young up-and-coming studs. He's told me time and time again, this is my Super Bowl. This is the pinnacle of my career. This is my UFC, and I'm bringing it. I love Johnny Cupcakes. I'm a huge fucking fan of that guy. I love everything about him, but this is my Super Bowl. This is my UFC, and I got to come and bring it. And this is, I'm pumped for it because we've been knowing Johnny from day one. Cage Titans 1, literally. He's became a fan favorite. He's become a guy that, like, when he's on a card, you want to watch. He's going to bring it. He's going to do something fucking wild and crazy. This is going to be incredible. This is what, I've always kind of been like iffy on the whole OG thing. This is the fucking OG title. This is just amazing. This is what the OG title, should and is about. And these 2 guys representing it, I couldn't be more stoked for it.
It's Cage Titans is entering its OG era. 16 years in the fight business, took 15 before we had to enter in an OG division. There's no local Bellator for us to ship off the OGs to. We gotta keep them relevant. That's a great joke. That was a great joke. So we're gonna keep the division flourishing and flowing. And the fight game has no age restrictions or limitations. So Charlie Gathers, 100% finish rate. Never seen a judge's scorecard win, lose, or draw. And we know the style that Cupcakes brings. Mr. Cage Titans himself, no stranger. Nobody needs an introduction or any hype for him. We know what Cupcakes brings. So this is going to be an exciting fight between 2 guys that fit the bill of OG to a T. Hey, could you stop? Lay down. I need another minute. One more fight to break down, buddy. And then
yeah. Listen, man, you're absolutely right. I got the luxury of talking to Cam the other day, who's actually going to be cornering Charlie, and he said he's like, my favorite fighter in New England history is Johnny Cupcakes, and I'm fucking cornering against him. I cornered against him when he was fighting the party. He's like, it's so emotional for me. He's like, but my guy's coming, and he's gonna want to take him out. And Cam, I'm talking as Cam. I fought Charlie. Charlie cracked me right down the fucking pipe and sat me down. Like, this guy brings it, and he's no joke. His kids are all wrestlers and active competitors. His wife, like, this guy eats, sleeps, and breathes sport of MMA and everything that's encompassing it. So he's coming to bring it. And Johnny couldn't be more happy to welcome the Cage Titans. Like, Johnny's looking for that 25th win. You know, he's at 23 now. You know, and he wants to get into that coaching era and his next phase of life era. Congrats, he got married last year, you know, a couple months back. So, like, you know, he knows he's kind of coming to the end of his MMA career, as he said. He still might do some kickboxing and boxing and some other fun stuff with us, but yeah, you know, he has his sights set on 2 more fights and 2 more wins, and he's got Charlie Gathers in front of him, and he's bringing it. So, good one coming up.
As you mentioned, it's what the OG division is for, and rightfully so in the co-main event kicking off the new year. So brings us to our flyweight main event, which we've already talked about. My cat and dog are getting very emotional right now.
Well, we won't. We talked about this at the top of the hour, so we won't spend too much time on it.
Weigh-ins taking place at Memorial Hall.
Yeah, so I'll go down the whole thing. So rewind to the beginning. I mean, Cody Davis versus Casey Norton. I mean, fucking implications through the roof. These are guys that are top prospects that aren't signed in the UFC in the entire country. Like, this isn't just like, hey, these guys are the best in our little area. You know, they could be 2 of the best in the entire country.
Amazing.
Cody's already top 5. But either way, great fight. Some housekeeping stuff because Andy asked. There's no press conference for this event. But look at that, Charlie. Much respect. He's super pumped. So no press conference for this event. Fighters are coming into town Wednesday, Thursday. Weigh-ins will be at Plymouth Memorial Hall, the main hall, on Friday, 11 a.m. report time for all the fighters. Official scale is at 11. And then 1 o'clock, we will go live with the ceremonial weigh-ins from the stage at Memorial Hall. Saturday, pregame party at Second Wind Brewing. They have a brand new tap room, which is located right on Main Street, a few blocks down. It's beautiful. They've been brewing our beer for 6+ years now. Go see their brand new tap room. It just opened literally last month. It's only been open a month, so go check them out for the pregame party. Rob Pico will be hosting the pregame party there, doing some trivia, doing some ticket giveaways. So go check out the pregame party at 12 from 12 to 4. Then, as always, 4 o'clock, hall pass. Go pick up your hall pass. It gets you in an hour before everybody else, and you can pick out your favorite seat. So 4 o'clock, hall pass entry. 5 o'clock, main doors. 6 o'clock, first fight. And then, as always, the after party at Tavern on the Wharf immediately following the fights. If you can't be in Plymouth this upcoming Saturday, I don't know what you're thinking, but don't worry. Spectation Sports got you covered. They are the official broadcast partner of Cage Titans, the only home for Cage Titans. Don't fall for the scam links. Don't click the links in the comments. Spectation Sports is the only place to watch Cage Titans 75 if you're not in the building. CageTitans.com will bring you right there, or SpectationSports.com, and you can fill everything out and get signed up. So that's the housekeeping stuff. Cage Titans 75 this upcoming Saturday night. And then obviously we'll have all the fun stuff with MGM Fenway rolling out a bunch of announcements this upcoming Saturday at intermission. We have a really fun, I think you guys are going to love it. We've talked about this being our Super Bowl with MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and grappling. We have an amazing thing that we got. The Grappling Titans fans will be super pumped up. People have been up my ass about when's Grappling Titans coming back. it's coming back in a big way, and we got a huge announcement, and we're going to be bringing out the competitors at intermission this weekend. So so expect all the fireworks, and then expect some huge announcements for MGM Fenway happening in February. Got nothing else for you, Andy?
I got nothing else either, man. It's fight week.
Actually, Charlie got a question, Andy. Maybe you can help him out. He said, we got to send him the best pizza place in town. It's one of his things he's been doing his whole career. He gets local pizza wherever I fight for Hotel Munchies. The Edge Pizza. There you go. The Edge Pizza is an official Cage Titans sponsor. They call it Detroit style. And they're literally 2 blocks down from the hall. It's big, deep dish Edge Pizza. It's incredible. And they actually will be for sale at the concession stand this show. We signed a deal with them for 2026. So we'll be selling their pizza at Memorial Hall on fight night. But do one better. Take a walk down the street and you can get it right from them directly. The Edge Pizza. Glad you brought that up. Fucking perfect plug. It's like you set me up for that one. But Andy, if there was another place, where would you go?
For pizza? I don't know. I don't really get pizza when I'm down there, but I know Main Street Sports got a mean pizza.
Main Street Sports. Speaking of pizza, shout out to Coop's Bar and Grill for getting a 6.8.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You know, that's in Quincy, so it's a little farther away, obviously. You know, we had Dave Portnoy. A lot of people been hitting me up. Dave Portnoy from Barstool stopped by Coop's 2 weeks ago on a Monday. And everybody's been up my ass about the review. What's the review? What's the rating? I had no clue. I watched it with everybody else and found out for the first time 6.8. And it's everything I envisioned it would be. You know, people are like, oh, you happy, you this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, Coops, if you've been there before, we do have pizza. We don't do traditional South Shore bar pizza, as they would call it. You know, so we do a hybrid. There's smaller pizzas. They're not a it's not a social, it's not a bar pizza by definition of what the interwebs and the fucking groups always talk about. But I think 6.8 was a respectable score. And I think he said exactly what everybody who's been to Coops says. There's so many fucking good things on the menu. Pizza is probably the last on your mind. Steak tips, pastrami, steak and cheese, turkey tips. You know, there's so many other things that people look to. The bread bowls that we have, you know, chicken parm bread bowl. He actually brought up the pasta dish, chicken broccoli ziti. Pizza is probably like the 8th most sold item that we have, you know, after all those things. But I was very happy with the review, very happy with the rating. He referenced the 4s at the Boston Garden. He's like, the menu reminds me of a throwback to the Boston Garden 4s, which was there for 44 years before they closed. So I'll take that. I'll take that as well.
Yep. There you go. You got your pizza review.
Yeah. And Charlie gathers the hotel close to the Edge. Hotel is probably within 8 to 10 minutes from the Edge. The Edge is probably 2 minutes from Plymouth Memorial Hall. So after the weigh-in, you could literally walk down to the Edge and get a slice or a pizza. So yeah, check those guys out. And maybe we can have you do a little review for us. We'll have you do a review. Charlie gathers scale 0 to 10. But yeah,
all right.
Man, I don't got much else, man. I'm gonna refrain. I'm gonna refrain from going too deep into MGM because I don't want to bog down the show. You'll see me on Saturday. If you have questions about MGM, you can grab me, see me there. Also, we're going to be working on having a table set up for MGM tickets at Memorial Hall this Saturday where you can just go right up and buy your tickets on the spot, not pay any fees and things like that. So we're going to be working on that.
Nice. Oh, excuse me. Jesus.
That's it, brother. I hope you guys, you know, looking forward to this weekend, man. It's going to be an incredible card. And I'm very proud of this card. I gotta say, I'm super proud of this card for so many different reasons. And I know you fans are going to show up and show out. I already have fighters hitting me up. I've had to re-up 2 or 3 fighters in the last few days on tickets that they've sold out of the tickets that they had. So tickets are flying. January's historically one of our biggest cards from capacity. From ticket sales, it's usually one of our biggest cards. People are just dying to get out after the holidays and get back to fighting. So it's going to be a great crowd. And yeah, that's it, man.
That's it. All right. 2026 off to a big start. Starts this weekend. CT75. You never want to miss the action at Memorial Hall. I know we got big things on the horizon, but the hall's the home of Cage Titans, and they echo loud for us for a reason. So we'll see you all there. I'm really excited. As always, this is what we do. And
I did forget something. James Lynch will also be in the town once again, so he'll be doing the Live at Lynch on weigh-in day, interviewing all the people live in person at the weigh-ins, and then he will be doing the pregame show from out front of Memorial. He's actually from Canada, so he can probably brave the elements. Usually been doing the pregame show outside of Memorial Hall and letting fans and like fighters interview outside with James Lynch and breaking down the card before everybody enters the building. I'll check with him if he wants to do it outside. It is a little cold, but he's from Canada, so maybe he'll be down with it. But yeah, we will do it.
This is like summer for him.
Very true. All right, guys.
All right, boss. Take it easy. We'll see you later, Michael.
Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your night. See you this Saturday.